How about another top 10 list today at Live on Purpose TV? How to be a better co-parent. As a professional psychologist, earlier in my career, I worked a lot with child custody issues, with blended families, families who have experienced a divorce or have set up a multiple household kind of a family. Co-parenting is the term that we use to describe the parenting approach when there are multiple households involved. So as opposed to parenting within a single household with mom and dad both there together, co-parenting usually has to do with an ex-spouse after a divorce. And that gets really tricky. So let's talk about the top 10 ways to become a better co-parent. And number 10, the one that we will start out with today, coming in at number 10 on our list, is forget about the co, become a better parent. This probably goes without saying. Improving your own parenting skills is probably the best thing that you can do to establish a better co-parent relationship with your ex and with your kids. Become a better parent. A lot of videos and resources here on the site. The Positive Parenting playlist is one that you'll want to hit for sure. And Vicki and I have recently completed the recording on the Parenting Power Up audio course. That is also available to you. So enjoy those resources and become a better parent. Now, coming in at number 9 is an important acknowledgement that's also based in the philosophy that I think is going to help you with your co-parenting. Here it is. Kids' issues do not equal parents' issues. Kids' issues do not equal parents' issues. What I mean is that as parents, we get all tied up in all kinds of things that we're thinking about, wondering about, worrying about. These are not typically the same things that kids are thinking about and worrying about and spending their emotional capital to think through. For example, a kid might be thinking, wait, if I have to go see Dad on Friday, how am I going to get to my soccer game? And that's all they're thinking about. Meanwhile, parents are thinking, oh, we've got to have an equitable time-sharing situation here. We've got to set this up so that we have the same expectations and rules and guidelines. Not your kid's issue. Your kid's thinking something else. An acknowledgement of that helps you to be a better co-parent. Don't infuse your issues into theirs. That's what I mean by kids' issues do not equal parents' issues. Moving up to number 8, practice positivity and forgiveness. Divorce brings out the worst in people. And this is why it's so hard to set up an effective co-parenting relationship. If people are still hurt and traumatized and reacting to each other with the fight or flight kind of a response, it's really hard to set up something that's effective on a co-parenting front. For you personally to practice positivity and forgiveness creates a much better opportunity for you to function well in a co-parenting scenario. Now, what if your ex doesn't do that? What if your ex doesn't get it or watch this video or come along? Oh, and you can share this with them if you want to. What if they don't? You're still in a better position if you personally go to a positive frame of mind. We got other videos here talking about that if you need some help. And forgiveness, which is not saying that everything that happened is okay. Forgiveness is really more of letting go of your delusion that this should be different than it is. You accept that it is what it is, and what it is pretty good, especially compared to something worse. You'll take this. Get yourself into that space where you can be positive about the way things are right now without changing anything. That puts you in a more powerful position as a co-parent. Now, moving up to number 7. Get to yes. get to yes, your initial reaction to something might be more inclined toward the no arena. What if we change the pattern and you lead with yes? When your ex makes a request, for example, yes. Now, yes might mean, I'm listening, I hear you, I acknowledge your request. It's a respectful way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you agree, okay? But people don't use it sometimes because they're afraid that's what it means. When you answer the phone, you can simply say yes as opposed to hello, okay? It's an appropriate greeting as well. So when I say get to yes, we're programming ourselves to take a more positive approach to the requests and the inquiries that come in. And there will be some. Yes, get to yes. What if it's something that you don't completely agree with, but maybe you're open to some negotiation? You can still lead with yes. Yes, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. This creates a powerful synergy that works really well when we're trying to do the co-parenting. Now let's build on that and move up to number 6. Assume the best. You know what I love about some of these strategies is it has nothing to do with the other parent. This is all stuff that you can do inside of your own mind and with your own psychology. Assume the best. Assume, for example, that the other parent has your interest at heart. Now, I know, I almost heard what you were thinking there, but they don't. Yeah, right. Do you know for sure what their position is, what they're thinking? No. Even if they tell you, you still don't know. You just know what they've told you. And you have reasons to second guess some of that stuff anyway. Since you don't know, pick a position. I say assume the best because it changes your position. It changes your influence. It changes your ability to show up as an effective co-parent. Assume the best. Assume that they love the kid. Assume that they have good intentions. Assume that they love your child. Assume that they have all kinds of generous and benevolent feelings as a parent. Assume that they're going to do the right thing when push comes to shove. You assume all of those things, it changes how you show up. It may or may not change them. That's secondary. I think this puts you in position to have the most influence with them, but the point is that it changes your own psychology and how you're showing up in this co-parenting relationship. Number 5, lead with gratitude. And be specific about this. This is a social gift as described by Anne Demeray. The social gift of appreciation and gratitude, where you pick something specific and you lead with that. So you don't call them to make a request. You first lead with gratitude. Hey, James, I sure appreciate the way that you handled that game last week. Thank you so much. Okay? Something like that. Gratitude has this really almost magical power to soften people. And it prepares them for the conversations that are to follow. I would add, do not follow your appreciation social gift with the word but. Don't go there. Let it fly. Let it land. Let it have its place all on its own. You don't have to say, but we really need to work this out. When you say but, it's like, forget about what I just said. Here's what I really mean. So let it sit and settle in. I appreciate the way you handled that. Thank you. Pause. Nice. Do you feel the power of that? That's why number 4 on our list is stay in front of your butt. Spelled B-U-T. Just like I described it right now. You stay in front of that. Pause. Allow that to carry its weight. Let the positive carry the day. Now, as we move up to number 3 on our list, I want you to reconnect for just a moment with who you are. You are a benevolent, generous, kind, loving person. Don't let divorce or the dynamics in a co-parenting situation pull you off of that particular identity and who you are. So number 3 is always err on the side of generosity and kindness. Now I say err on the side of because sometimes we're not sure if this is the right approach to take. But if you're going to make an error, err on the side of generosity and kindness. If you will do this, you'll never regret the behaviors that you show up with. It may not always get your desired outcome, but over the long haul, you are creating a more effective co-parenting relationship by erring on the side of generosity and kindness. And besides, that's who you really are at your core anyway. Okay, now number 2, keep the focus on the kids. One of the best things that you can do in a co-parenting relationship is to get yourself out of the equation. So that it's not about me. How I feel is only secondary. Really what I'm focused on here is the kids and their experience and how all of this impacts them. If everyone could do this, you would have an awesome co-parenting relationship. If your ex isn't doing it, it's still best for you to do this because of how it changes the dynamic. And that leads us to number 1 on our countdown today. Remember who picked out your kid's other parent in the first place. This sometimes stings a little bit. Connect with this for a minute. Because you chose well when you chose that other parent. I know that stuff went south. I know that things went sour. I know that there was a breakup and a divorce. I get it. That does not remove the fact that you made the best decision you knew how to make at the time, given what you knew and where you were. You picked out the other parent. Remember that. And be kind to yourself about this. It's not that you blew it or you chose poorly. You made a good choice. And that is a gift to your children. I've talked to kids about this I'm trying to help them go through some divorce dynamics and adjust and adapt to this multi-household life that they have now. And sometimes I ask the kids, hey, who do you think picked out your dad? And they're like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, my mom picked him out, huh? Yes, she did. Did she do a good job? Yeah, she did. This is contrary to some of the popular trends out there, to hate and vilify and badmouth the other parent. Just here to tell you it doesn't work to do it that way. You want to create a good co-parenting relationship? Remember who it was that picked out that other parent in the first place. Give yourself a little pat on the back for the good job that you're doing as a parent, and let's see if we can do some more effective co-parenting. Isn't it great how these principles apply not only to co-parenting, but to all kinds of parenting? You're going to get even more insights and tips from the Parenting Power Up. Check it out right over there.